So thank you again for joining. I think it's been a really powerful day hearing lots of experiences from young carers and parent carers and adult carers in different ways, whether it's through films, whether it's through the interviews with adult carers and parent carers. It's really great now to be able to hear much more about young carers, including firsthand from them. So I'm going to start by handing over to Becca from Centre 33, who's going to introduce the film.
Thank you very much, Andy. Hi, everybody. I'm going to do a special hello to Tom, who I can see is here already. We have some young carers who'll be coming in during this session to see how we train, see if what we tell them is true. My name is Becca. I am from Centre 33 Young Carers Project. I'm a senior project worker. This film was produced and devised by our Young Carers Advisory Board. On that board currently sits 10 secondary school age and 10 primary school age young people who are all happen to be carers as well as being young people. So this film was initially made for teachers, young people. The young carers that we work with wanted to target teachers, but I think it's a great film that represents young carers' day-to-day lives. So go ahead, Andy, let's watch it.
I found out I was a young carer when my mum went out with my brother one day, and then she came home and told my dad that my younger brother was autistic, and I asked my mum what that meant, and my mum explained what it was, and then she told me that meant I was a young carer.
I know we didn't know forever, because
was it like when we were 5 or 6 or something?
Yeah, I think it was when we were 5 or 6.
We started receiving help from Centre 33 just at the start of year 6, a bit after, I think.
Yeah, but our older sister Lola had been working with Centre 33 for quite a long time before that.
Yeah.
When I was in year 4, I think, and it was in a celebration assembly. So the whole school was there. I had no idea what a young carer was, that I was doing anything special or anything different than anyone else. My deputy head of year called my name out and said that she does something very special in class and at home, and that she deserves some recognition for it.
That's amazing. At my first primary school, I was talking to my friend and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to a meeting with some people. And they were like saying how they cared for their mum, and I was like, that's me. And it's like, obviously I didn't do as much back then. I was 7, for crying out loud, so obviously I didn't do the stuff I do now, but they put me down quite a bit, and then I went home telling my mum, and she called the school, and it turns out that I was actually a young carer. I found Centre 33, and the support I'm getting from them is amazing. I've had recognition for it, and I've had the support throughout. But it's difficult when you get bullied for it, especially when it's something you have to do and you can't help it.
Yeah.
I think basically they're pretty much someone that has to look after people that has something that they need extra support with them.
Yeah, it's like they have something unique.
Yeah.
I think a young carer is someone who helps someone and tries to live kind of 2 lives at once.
Yeah.
So one of their lives is their life at home with the person they're caring for, and one of their lives is like their lives at school.
Yeah.
Where they're pretending that they don't care for someone.
And there's nothing wrong when they're upset.
Young carer is someone who looks after a family member or guardian and with a disability.
Okay, well, I think that a young carer is sort of like foundations for a building, so it like helps make sure it's stable and like make sure it doesn't fall in.
child can just go home and relax and do whatever they want, like gaming on consoles, whereas a child with a caring role has to care for their parents and have less time to chill out.
What's a day in the life for you?
My dad comes into my room and wakes me up around 6. I have my breakfast while my brother wants me to get it for him and give him room service. So I get to school and then my friends are like, "Oh, how are you, Tom? Let's play video games when we get home from school, Tom." I was like, "I mean, I might not be able to." And then they're like, "Why? Come on." And I say, "Well, because my younger brother might need me." But one of them said to me, "Well, can't he just wait? Can't you just forget him for once?" And you can't because they need help. I get home, sometimes I have to make my mum a coffee and my younger brother milk with a chocolate straw in it. And then I go to bed and repeat that process.
My mum tries to wake us both up. My mum only has a couple of minutes to get me ready for school because now I have to stay in my room till my brother's left so that I don't have to feel the stress of my brother.
Yeah.
In just a short space of time when he has to get ready, he's got in an argument with me and he gets really annoyed in the morning. We walk the dogs to school because my mum's not got time to walk the dogs. And then at school, normally my friends are talking about some fun things they did on the weekend. And then I'm like, I did some fun things on the weekend.
Yeah,
My mum went to Birmingham and stayed the night with my brother so he could have an MRI.
Yeah, I have to lie like that as well. Sometimes I have to just make up things because otherwise they're going to make fun of you for not doing anything.
Because and then I can't have my friends can't come over. Yeah, I get some video gaming time, but then my mum's like, I can't get your brother to set the table, and my brother gets more electronic time than me because she's like, Bethan, can you come help me set the table? Bethan, can you come help me with the dinner? I go to bed like, I know, and then it all goes over again.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of stuff together.
Yeah, we have a lot of the same experiences and we can relate to each other a lot. It's usually a dinner time where some arguments may start forming.
Yeah, I'll do brother.
Our older brother might come down and he might be quite agitated or...
Yeah, just whatever's gone on the day.
Well, we help Sonny maybe... At school, some people might have met him and not really like understood his condition and be like, "Oh, your brother's super moody," and starts like making fun of him. We try and like help stop that, but also obviously directly to Sonny, we like
sometimes.
Yeah, we'll help calm him down.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Get ready between 6 and 7, sort myself out, and then it's like waking everyone up, like my brother and sister up to start getting ready at 7, and then help my mum do the jobs around the house, dishwasher, animals, feeding the animals. I have to make sure my brother and sister are ready before I walk out the door, otherwise it's just chaos for my mum. And then get to school, and then there's a constant feeling of worrying. It's like, what's going on? Is she alright? Is my mum alright? Teachers are always like, why aren't you concentrating? And then walking home, it's always a rush because it's like, I've got to make sure she's alright. Everyone else is like, oh, do you want to go meet in town or something? And it's like, I can't, I'm not allowed to, or my mum's struggling today, so I can't. And then it's like, my brother and sister will go to bed, and it's like, that's when I can chill. And it's like, even then I don't feel like I'm chilling properly because it's like, is there anything that needs doing? Have I done all the jobs for my mum? It's constantly like that on a daily basis.
I wake up around 6:30 to start getting ready, and then I make sure my mum's up, okay, ready. There's a lot of worrying, and that's where teachers don't understand normally. At break or lunch, I'll probably bring my mum. That's where we're lucky that we're allowed to use our phones outside. Because,
100%.
like you said, if your friends will ask you to go hang out after school, but you can't, and then I'll usually cook dinner.
Yeah.
And I'll clean the house. I'll help my mum feed the dogs in the mornings. I'll let the dogs out at night before I go to bed. And if she comes up to bed at the same time as me, then I'll help her get upstairs and everything.
School life is a bit different for young carers because sometimes the children in your class are scared to be friends with you because of your sibling or your parent. Sometimes you're stressed from caring and then you burst at school and it's normally at something really small, but your classmates don't understand why you've just suddenly became so dramatic when it's not actually so dramatic, just you've had all the stress building up from being a carer.
So we've done something in our school to like make more people understand. So we put a board up with lots of information on it, which helped.
Yeah.
I guess.
Not on our brother.
No, not my brother. Just on like young carers.
I think teachers could help them with issues at home and make sure that they have private talks every once in a while to help understand more of a caring person.
Yeah, I think teachers should recognise when a young carer is maybe having a bad day.
Teachers could help young carers by giving them more support. So if a teacher sees they're struggling in a way, like they just look a bit worried, either sometimes you go over and just ask them if they're okay. Sometimes they'll say, yeah, I'm fine, because they don't want to talk about it. And sometimes they'll say, no, I'm not. Instead of saying, how are you? Because you can see that they don't look the best. You can ask them, do you want a minute, out of the classroom? Normally you'll go into school, you're late. You'll get to school and explain, I'm really sorry, my person I look after has been upset. And then sometimes they'll listen, but I don't feel like they actually understand what's going on.
Yeah, I find that a lot as well with teachers. It's like they say they understand something, and to be honest, unless you've actually been through what you're going through, then people aren't going to understand fully. And if they're more honest with you, saying I don't actually understand what you're going through, and it's like then we can get sent to 33 to get in touch with them. And maybe just get them to talk about what's happened. Yeah. So they can understand easier. Yeah, try to understand more why their homework isn't in on time. If it's really bad, you don't ever have a chance to do it, but he just thinks you've been lazy and haven't wanted to do it, then he'll probably end up sending you to the head teacher. And it's sometimes it's not enough time for you to get homework done, especially when you are a young carer. Yeah. So I think they should definitely have extra training where people with mental health issues and people that are young carers are concerned. They won't understand straight away, but if people have the training, they will definitely understand a lot more. They're going to have young carers in their class eventually, one day possibly, and they're going to need to go through that training so they know how to handle it.
I should definitely learn a bit more like young carers and people who have disabilities. We don't expect them to understand emotionally what we're going through, but we just want to make them understand that we're going through it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with secondary schools as well, I think they should most definitely educate more. For example, in skills for life lessons or in assemblies. And I also think that because you have so many different teachers in secondary school, it's hard to figure out sometimes whether they'll understand, because there's some teachers that that if you have a problem, then they'll do whatever they can to help you. But then there's some that you don't want to tell because you're afraid of how they'll react.
Sometimes if it's been a really hard night, my mum lets us sleep in a little bit. They're asking really quite personal questions about why what happened last night, and we might be still quite sensitive about it because things get broken, people get hurt. So they should definitely know if if we've had a bad night. If we don't want to talk about it, then they shouldn't ask about it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think they should understand more that you won't be late if you don't have to be. And I think teachers should understand more that if you need to take a minute outside of lesson, or if you have a young carer meeting, if someone comes into school from Centre 33 to help you, then they shouldn't get mad at you for having to take time out of that lesson. Because I feel like that's what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and we go through different things than other kids do that aren't young carers. And so we need time as well. In school, I feel school is that break for some young carers sometimes.
Yeah, I think so.
What can you do to support us?
Thank you, Andy, for being the technical part of this. I hope you all enjoyed watching that. I hope you got a good insight into how a young carer feels, what they do. I think it's fair to say that they do the same as adult carers. They're just kids and they don't get paid for it. Oh, thank you very much, SJ. Just seeing comments in the chat. Now, what's something that we really like to do is to feed back to the young people who have been in videos what you thought or felt about them. So if you do have any comments about the video that you're happy for us to share with the young people, please pop them in the chat and I will be sure to pass it on to them. I think I'm going to hand it over to Charlotte and we will start an introduction to young carers for everybody.
Oh, hang on a second. I don't think I've got sound on. 1 second, everyone. Let's just sort this out.
Tech is not our strong point.
Yeah.
We're good at supporting young people.
Great. Got some sound. Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte. You may have heard from me earlier today in this session, but I'm the project worker, one of the senior project workers for the Young Carers capacity building team. So work very closely. In fact, actually, the two of us make up the capacity building team. So welcome. So today we're going to be doing a bit of an introduction into young carers, followed by then a Q&A where you're actually going to hear from some young carers who are joining us on the call. So it'd be really wonderful if everybody would be able to turn on their cameras if they can. It would be great to see your faces, and especially for the session later on when young carers are going to be talking about their experiences. I think it's really important that they can see you and they know who's there. So if you can, please do put your cameras on. So we're going to start the session by introducing ourselves. So if you could use the chat function to introduce yourself, name, who you are, why you're here today. If you're from an organisation, what organisation are you from and what role do you play? And it'd be great if we could hear from you all. So please do use the chat to introduce yourself. Becca, are you able to have a look and see? We can maybe read a
I'm ready. I'll pick a few names because this will go very fast. I'm just reading the comments about the video. The young people are going to love these comments. Thank you so much. They will love those. Andy, is it possible just to get a snippet of those comments after when you thank you?
So anyone want to be brave and introduce?
Okay. Yes, we're here. We've got Yasmin, service manager for young carers and young adult carers from Bucks and Carers MK. Nice to meet you. Siobhan, hi Siobhan. You've been to lots of our training. I recognise names. Oh, now it's going really fast. Here we go. Going to test my ability. Oh, no, I've lost it. Okay, Clara from Integrated Care Worker from Huntingdon. Lisa and Tom, hello. Polly is here from Adult Social Care. Carers Experience Lead East of England, Jodie. Oh, hi Jodie. Donna Hunt's PCN care coordinator. Sam is a mum with a long-term condition and has 3 autistic boys, and you volunteer for Pinpoint. I love Pinpoint. Joanna from GPUTC. Hello, Joanna. Nice to see you. Oh gosh, there's loads of you. Okay, Sue Evans, retired nurse, trying to support carers in Burwell. Fabulous. Another Becca, new admin officer at Healthwatch. I'm sure I'll see you in the Maple Centre. Hi, Graham. Nice to see you. Asta's here. Social prescribing link worker. Pekka. Ewan, my colleagues and I work for Cambridgeshire Libraries. Oh, yes, we'd love to come to the libraries. That'll be fun. Thank you. Margaret, an old lady. Oh, who's been supporting young carers for years, once chairman of Carers Trust. Hiya, Margaret. SJ, HCA at CPFT, but want to work more in therapy with children. Care of my parents, me too. Nicola, Children's Commissioner, hello. Pam, Cambridgeshire Libraries. Oh, Diane. Hello, Diane from the Shade. She's one of our Young Carers champions. Lisa's from Commissioning. Zoe and Cara, Carers champions from CPFT. Belinda, hi Belinda from Caring Together, who does our job in Norfolk. Tom and Lisa love us too, Charlotte, that's good. Natalie, single parent carer. Support workers across sectors, wear many hats. Wow, you are a busy lady. We have many jobs and responsibilities. I specialise in children and families with neurodiversity and special educational needs. I'm part of CDC Young Minds GHAN. Oh, I've not heard of them. I'd love to know more. And many other organisations across the sector. I'm also involved in the study and work in housing support, intersectional and trauma support, environment and activism. I don't know how you get the time, Natalie. Bless you. Lynn, Deafblind UK, supporting people with sight and hearing loss and their carers. I think I did it. I'm so sorry if I've missed anybody. I tried my best. Oh, Joy, carer for your brother, and also an artist and songwriter. Wow. Well, we have some young carers who want to make a young carer song, so we may have to knock on your door, Joy. That might be a good connection. Thank you. I'll finish now so you can.
Amazing. Thank you.
I just want to get Bob in because I feel bad. Bob is a carer for his wife, volunteer for Caring Together, Rethink Carers Support Committee.
Thanks everyone. Real mix, which is fantastic. Okay, so what we're hoping to do today in this hour until 5 o'clock is talk to you about who young carers are. So definitions and kind of the impact it has on young people, as you would have seen through the video. Well, there's lots of key messages that came from that, but we're going to talk a bit more about that. What support Centre 33 can offer to young carers, how to refer to us, and then we're going to have the Q&A, like we said, with some young carers. So hopefully that's everything that everybody is here to get from us today. So first question for you then, again, please use the chat. Who is a young carer? Now, I don't know how many of you were listening to earlier in the conference. I'm sure this mentioned before. So this is a test for you. Please, can you write in the chat what you think the definition of a young carer is, or what does it? And who's been listening and who's done their reading?
Unfortunately, there are no prizes apart from the prize of knowing you got it right. Oh, no problem, Siobhan. Yes, it's on our YouTube channel, Centre 33 YouTube channel. Loads of videos on there, actually. I'm checking the chat at the same time.
No one's going to be brave at the moment. Okay, yeah.
Oh, here we go. Any young person that supports a sibling, parent or other person, includes giving emotional support, not just practical. Yes. A young person who provides support to another person, someone who participates in tasks and activities that assist another with daily living. Child or young person with caring responsibilities for someone else. Tom, you are cheating. You are a young carer. You can't. Oh, it's all right, Miss Mum. It was Mum. Fab. That's it for now in the chat.
Okay, right. We're going to hear from some more young carers about what they think the definition of a young carer is.
would say it's a younger person that's like maybe has a role of looking after a sibling or like an adult or someone that like maybe might not have like a disability but something like along those lines to just like help them sometimes when they need it a bit more than like us. I would say a young carer is a person that in their family household there's someone that they have to look after and their parents need more support with. What I think a young carer is somebody who might have someone in their family that's ill, maybe they have a disability, a problem with like their mental health, and a young carer is someone who supports that adult or maybe sibling.
Okay, so definition then. So by definition, a young carer is someone under the age of 18 who looks after a family member or friend who has a physical or mental health condition or misuses drugs and alcohol. So thank you to whoever put that in the chat. Young carers can include those that have a family member who misuses drugs and alcohol, and they are often forgotten about and hidden for various reasons. And they may look after brothers and sisters too. So, you know, sibling young carers, we support a lot of sibling young carers whose, you know, maybe brother or sister has a disability or mental health issues of their own. They are all young carers. So young carers can provide a lot of different types of support. So we've got kind of the practical tasks. So they might support with cooking, housework, shopping. They might also support with giving medicines, medication. They may also do a lot of the physical care, so helping someone get out of bed, pushing them in a wheelchair, helping them to kind of move about, personal care as well. So that might be helping them to get dressed, might be helping them into the bath or shower, helping them to wash. They might also help someone to communicate. So that might be communicating kind of how they're feeling, but it also might be communicating to kind of other professionals as well. They might look after brothers and sisters as a result potentially of maybe a parent who has a disability or poor mental health or alcohol and drug misuse, but they also might be helping to look after brothers and sisters because they are the cared for person as well. They might support with managing family budgets. And importantly, I'm really glad that a few people mentioned this in the chat, but it's emotional support too. So not all young carers will be providing a lot of practical support. So it's really important to remember that actually some young carers will just be providing that emotional support. So someone, you know, someone for them to talk to, particularly around young carers supporting those that struggle with their mental health, whether that be a parent or another sibling. A lot of the time it's about checking in, making sure that they're okay, and it's the emotional support that they provide. So young carers can do a range of different things, but what's important to remember is any child and young person with a family member with a disability or a mental health issue, or if they have a parent with alcohol and substance misuse, they are by definition a young carer, regardless of what they're doing, because they're impacted by their loved one's condition in some way. So there are lots of impacts of being a young carer. So in terms of socially, a lot of young carers report that they can feel quite isolated. They have a lack of contact with young people in the same age group. They can feel quite different to their peers, and they often get limited time to themselves and for leisure and activities. So a lot of young carers will say to us that, you know, they might miss out on trips, or they might miss out on going to see friends that are all meeting up after school in town or at the weekends due to their caring role, or because they're worried about their loved ones and they want to be at home, making sure that they're okay. There's also the educational side. So young carers struggle sometimes with that transition to a new educational setting, especially those that are either transitioning from year 6 up to secondary school, and those transitioning maybe into further education, university, or in jobs and employment. Often it can have an impact on educational attainment as well, and they're unable to make free decisions about future aspirations. So these are the conversations we have with a lot of our 15, 16 plus when we look at the transitions assessment. We're talking about their future aspirations and trying to support them to be able to achieve that, whilst at the same time understanding that they do have loved ones that they care for and they worry about and want to support. So we try to kind of support them to achieve those things at the same time. And we've also seen a lot with our young carers that attendance is very poor. It's often much lower than other students, but this is a common theme that we see with a lot of the referrals and the young people that we're supporting around attendance, and we're doing quite a bit of kind of work on that. Then we've got the emotional side, so low self-esteem, feelings of guilt or shame. A lot of young carers say they feel worried, and you would have seen that through the videos or the video that you saw earlier. They might worry when they're at school, they might worry when they're not with their loved ones, and they themselves might be experiencing their own needs. So we often receive a lot of referrals for young carers who are supporting another family member, but also struggle with their own mental health and various other things. And then we've got the physical side. So that might be joint pains, lack of self-care, poor diet, tiredness, and disturbed sleep. So these are just a few examples of the impacts, but obviously every young carer's role is very specific and unique to them and their family circumstances. So, you know, this isn't only, this is just a short list really of some of the common things that we see. So we've got another video now from some more young carers talking about why they're a young carer and what they do to support their loved ones.
I'm a young carer because my brother at home, he's autistic and non-verbal.
I care for my 3 younger siblings. They all have additional needs or are being diagnosed with them.
My younger sister is on the autistic spectrum, has sensory processing disorder. My mum has a condition called dystonia, and she at the moment is in a wheelchair.
My mum's got a rare brain condition called Chiari malformation. So she suffers with hemiplegic migraines and it paralyses her down one side.
My mum's, who's got type 2 diabetes, she's lost her sight over years. My dad would need help because he can't take my brother shopping. So I'd take care of my brother. I'd sit downstairs with him, make sure he's okay.
I mainly care for my oldest younger sibling. I'm with her basically 24/7.
I help with my mum doing a lot of the jobs that she can't, and I have to look after my sister.
I have to do the chore work around the house, cleaning,
100%.
Changing beds, everything.
Looking after the animals, taking them for walks.
Showering.
Shower. Same. And then
getting dressed.
Yeah, getting dressed.
Okay, so another question for you. So what do you think the barriers are to identifying young carers in your roles? So if we could use the chat function again to just talk about what you think some of the barriers are in your kind of roles, positions, whether that be as professionals, as carers, as parents. We'd love to hear from you what you think some of those barriers might be.
Oh, that's the dog joining in. Sorry, everyone. I am ready to read. Okay, so Joanna says some don't want to be seen as different, so don't come forwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
SJ doesn't get much contact with young carers in her job, but tend to refer to social worker, but never get to chat to them about their parents' conditions. This happens a lot of people who support adults. Actually getting access to the children is very difficult. If professionals don't ask, they will not find out. Absolutely. Them not understanding their carers, young people. Yes, I think the term. Yeah, we talk to young people a lot about the term young carer, and they're not a fan of it. In fact, one young person said to me, "I think we should be called unpaid child carers," which hit me between the eyes very fast. Okay, people not asking the right questions. don't realise there are young carers, stigma and fear. I think that some minority groups try to deal with it inside the family rather than going outside the community and asking for help. I think that often children with additional needs aren't recognised as having a caring role for parents or siblings who also have additional needs. Absolutely. I think we've seen a huge increase in young people that we support who have their own needs. Access to children is especially hard when you have a patient who is struggling to not be with their child. Absolutely. Stigma that still exists within the services, and this can be seen by local authority conduct toward disabled families and their carers. Adults, like teachers, not having enough information and experience. This is something we are massively trying to improve and change. Worry about the consequences of speaking out, 100%. Children be scared they'll be taken away from their parents. Yeah, absolutely. And parents being scared that their children will be removed from them. And that isn't what we are here for. Fabulous. Yeah. Back to you, Charlotte.
Great ideas. Yeah, really good. And hopefully with some of that kind of awareness raising side and the few things that you've mentioned about professionals not understanding, or professionals not asking why, or professionals not really knowing what to do with that information, hopefully through all of the things that we do in our awareness raising, we will get there. We will get to all professionals at some point. But yes, definitely, really great thoughts. So who can identify young carers? Everybody. So it's everybody's responsibility to identify young carers. It's not just schools. It's not just social workers, it's not just early help, it's not just other organisations, charities, it's everybody. And that includes parents, family, friends, you know, everybody. And identifying a young carer can open doors for that young person. It can mean that they will access support and they can get support for that. And it enables them to maybe socialise with other young carers that are in similar situations to them, and it also encourages professionals, I guess, to be able to then tailor maybe support packages or put extra support in place for the family and for those children and young people. So it's everybody's responsibility. So signs maybe to look out for, and again, like we talked about with the impacts, every caring role is very different. Every child responds in a very different way. So these are just a few examples of the things that we've seen or that other professionals have told us about. So maybe tiredness. A lot of young carers talk about falling asleep, maybe in school, in lessons at break time. Lateness to school clubs or appointments. So some young carers, you know, they might not turn up to school until kind of 9:30. There might be a repeated kind of pattern to that as well. Using medical terms. So as you would have seen throughout all the videos, our young carers are very mature for their age. The language they use, the vocabulary is often very advanced for their ages. And some of them will know of different medical terms, different disabilities, different types of medication and things that other children, young people of their age, you know, may not know. Unable to access activities, and that's usually things that might happen kind of after school or holiday times. They might not be able to get to them because their loved ones can't get them there, or because maybe due to sort of like their siblings as well, certain spaces and environments they may not be able to be in, and as a result that means that the other child is not able to access that support or those activities. Knowledge of skills their peers may not have. Difficulty of maintaining relationships, unkempt look. So it might be like we're talking about the physical impacts around, you know, having poor diet or maybe poor kind of self-care. False maturity, as we've said, they worry a lot. They might be attending medical appointments with their loved ones. So they might be the ones that are turning up at the GPs to support a sibling or a parent. They might be the ones that are going to see their loved ones in hospital, so visiting. So it's important for kind of, you know, medical staff to be aware of, you know, aware of these issues and aware of who's actually turning up to see their loved ones in hospital and struggling to leave their loved one on their own. So can anybody think of any others outside of that you may have seen through kind of your roles and your work, from being around young carers? Can anyone think of any other signs that they know of that aren't mentioned there? Feel free to put it in the chat.
Can I just say, probably those young people who also translate.
Yes.
So I've worked at a school before, and very often, especially for children who have SEND, their sibling would come and translate to the parent, and that is also a form of it, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah, around the communication, yeah, definitely.
We've got some bits in the chat. So we've got unable to do homework, being behind in schoolwork. Yeah, very, very common. Sadly, statistically, young carers do worse academically. Feel overprotected of the sibling they care for in a school setting. Yes, absolutely. And we work very hard with schools to not get their sibling carer in order to manage the other child with needs who should be supported and managed by adults at school. Lack of confidence and contributing in lessons, yes. Being withdrawn. I think we see both ends of the spectrum, actually. We find that lots of young people are quite withdrawn. Then we see some young people who need to gain quite a lot of control. So they will want to be involved in things, want to control a lot of friendship circles and networks because they don't have a lot of control in their lives.
Yes.
I think that's everything in the chat for now.
Yeah, great. Okay, so how does Centre 33 support young carers then? So we provide, we have a referral process which is on our online referral form, which I'm going to share with you shortly in another slide. When we receive that referral, the first thing we will do is we will go out and do a young carers needs assessment. So these needs assessments are statutory. Young carers are entitled to be offered an assessment, and it's your legal obligation if you identify a young carer to offer them that assessment. So the first thing that we will do when we have a referral is we will go out and do that assessment. We will look at the impact that caring has on them, and we will also look at their caring role, so how much support they are providing. And after we've done that, we will then talk to the young person and build a bit of an action plan, and we will assess what support it might be that they would like. And then off the back of that, we can then offer a range of different support. So we offer one-to-one support, which is usually about 6 to 10 sessions where they will meet with the project worker and they will work towards particular outcomes. There'll be outcomes that have been identified at the assessment. And those outcomes can be a range of different things, depending on the needs of that child. So they're very unique support packages that we offer, just depending on what the needs are and who they're caring for. We then also offer some targeted group work as well, which gives young carers the opportunity to meet other young carers of a similar age and who may have a similar caring role. We also then offer transition support. So our transition support is so there's kind of two aspects of this. We do year sixes, so we support year sixes transitioning up to secondary school. We might look at kind of introducing them to their young carers champions in their secondary school. We might look over the summer if we've got a group or if we're working with a group of young carers that are all going to the same secondary school, we might bring them together over the summer and introduce them. And then we might do visits to the secondary school potentially. We'll offer support really to help them with moving up to their to the bigger schools. And then we will also do a transitions assessment for our 16 and 15 class, let's say. And that looks at the future aspirations. So that was kind of what I was talking about earlier around looking at what they want to do moving forward. Do they want to go to university? Do they want to go to further education? And how they're going to do that. And we look at that in terms of their caring role as well, and what support we might be able to put in place and other services we might be able to get involved so that they can go on to achieve the things that they want to achieve. We also have our Young Carers Advisory Board, which Becca introduced right at the beginning with our video. So all of the young carers that you saw there sit on our advisory board. We've now called it Young Carers Voices, and the idea of this work is really to have young carers using their voices to influence the work we do, and also the way we maybe tailor our training, the way that we deliver our assemblies, who we target as well, and areas of priority to them really. So they're kind of the voices of our young carers, which are really, really important and shape everything that we do. And then we've got our awareness raising and training. So that falls under the capacity building team, which is Becca and myself. So we kind of do all of that training side. And here's a bit of an overview of what we do. So we have 3 training sessions that are available. They're free, they're all online for all professionals to attend. So that's the introduction to young carers, supporting young carers, and young carers in education. We run those every half term. So, and we change the date and we change the time of them every half term as well. So hopefully they will suit everybody at some point. They run for about 2 hours each session, and we have lots of discussions, breakout rooms, and yeah, it's a training session, but it's also an opportunity for you to kind of meet other professionals and talk about your experiences and share your experiences as well. We have a primary school programme, and we also have a secondary school and college programme. So both of these are bespoke for schools, and they run over the entire year. So they both consist of 5 sessions over the year, and we support them to have all the resources and information that they need to be able to support and identify young carers in their school, have a designated member of staff that's a young carers champion, who's the young carers main link really within school, and they also then work towards the Carers Tick Award, which Andy talked to us about earlier today in the conference. And then we also do bespoke training as well. So we will come out to services and organisations, and we will deliver training depending on the needs of the service. And they're all free. So this is how you can contact us. This is our website and our phone number. So if you want to get in contact with us about training, you can do via the Young Carers Training at Centre 33 email. And if you want to get in contact with us for anything else relating maybe referrals or progress with referrals that you've made, then please contact the Young Carers inbox, and they're best place really to answer those questions. Becca and I oversee the training email inbox, so it'll be one of us that gets back to you. Referrals can all be completed on the online form. You can also complete referrals over the phone as well if you would like to. And again, you can ring that number and have a chat to somebody about the referral to see whether it's an appropriate referral to make, or whether you just want to do it that way because you prefer to do it that way. And you can also follow us on social media as well. So we've put some links at the bottom. We've got a Facebook page, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. All of the videos you've seen today, as well as the film that was shown earlier, are on our YouTube channel. There's loads of great resources, not just from young carers, but also across the whole organisation of Centre 33, because we support young people as a whole through a range of different projects. So you can find lots of videos and support there. So does anybody have any questions for us at all? Has anyone got any thoughts, questions, anything they'd like to raise? Please use the chat, or please unmute yourself.
We've had one question, which is around our assessment. What is the current wait time? I'm sad to say the current wait time is 3 months for an assessment at the moment. We've gone from receiving 4 or 5 referrals a week to 4 or 5 referrals a day, which is fabulous because it means young carers are being identified. And what's really interesting is actually all of those young people being identified have very complex needs. So we're not talking about these young, just young people who may have a low caring role. We're talking about complex, high need young carers being referred appropriately, and multiple caring roles as well. Yes, it might be they're supporting parent and sibling, or they might be supporting more than one sibling, or the complexities of them in terms of their own needs
but in terms of who they're caring for, we've seen a lot more, haven't we?
Absolutely. And I think it's good to kind of say that we are part of the all age carers contracts. That's about just over 18 months old, maybe 24 months old now. And Peterborough was new to us, as in new to Young Carers Service. Centre 33 itself have been in Peterborough for a long time. And we also took on the primary schools. So historically, we've always worked with secondary schools. And so that takes a lot. It's just taken a lot. But what's happened is now lots of those children are being identified, which is great. Yeah. Yasmin, did you find it was more challenging to engage with colleges? And what would be your top tips to get them on board? No, we've been very fortunate. All colleges in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough work with us and regularly attend our training, we have a Young Carers Champions network. So our aim is every single school in Cambridgeshire and Peterborough by Young Carers Action Day in March will have a named Young Carers Champion. We're a good 75% of the way there already, and we launched this in September. I just think we've been very fortunate. Charlotte, can you just...
Yeah, we have been very fortunate, and they have all worked really, really well with us. I think what we found is that the approach in terms of support for young carers across primaries, secondaries and colleges, it looks different. The support that young carers want to receive at sort of a primary age to what they want to receive at college age is different, and that's something we're learning all the time, but we're able to do so by having those great relationships with colleges. So I think they have worked really well with us, which is amazing, and put some great events and awareness raising things on there. So it's been good. Any other questions for us at all? Okay. Natalie, sort of extensive information, training and support resources in combination with your relevant services. Great. Fantastic. Yeah, that's really good. Thanks, Natalie. That's good for everyone to know. Anything else, or anyone want to unmute themselves to ask anything? Feel free. I think we've got Andy. Do we have about? I'm just wondering if we give everyone, if no one's got any questions, if we give everyone kind of 10-minute break or something, and then come back for the young carers. We said kind of 5 o'clock, didn't we? I think
said 5 o'clock for the next session. Yeah, so that would be absolutely fine from that sense. That's not a problem.
Can I just apologise? That was the dog walker arriving. That was very loud, and I'd forgotten she was coming. That terrified me. I'm just reading what Joy's written as well. Found support services were very helpful when I was a student at Anglia Ruskin. I would hope it would have been equally good for younger students. Yeah, we do quite a lot of work with Anglia Ruskin.
Yeah.
In terms of training social workers, students, and also student nurses, student OT, student physios, I can't speak now, students in the health and social care sector.
We also offer student placements as well, don't we? So we've got a student with us at the moment who's supporting within the Young Carers Project, who's doing her placement social care with us, so we do offer that too.
And I know that Andy and his team will support, do lots in ARU as well in terms of those young people who are like 18 and over. Yeah. So we work really closely with Caring Together when our young people are kind of coming out of the young carers and then into the adult carer world. I think there's definitely more work that we could be doing and Caring Together in terms of young adult carers. That's something as both organisations want to strengthen a lot more. I think a lot of young adult carers tell us they find it quite difficult to navigate after. For example, ringing a helpline is just not something young adult carers want to do. They want to speak to a person that they know. So yeah, I'll be quiet now.
So Andy says about the UCAS application, so that's actually really important that they can declare they've got caring responsibilities to make sure they've got support in place before moving on to further education. And then Siobhan says, do you have formally identified young carers champions in non-educational services? We would love young carers champions in all services. And this is a conversation we've had quite a few times. And I know when I've done some training in various hospitals, so in Peterborough and Hitchinbrook in particular, they've talked about having young carers champions on the wards or within certain departments. So definitely, we would be happy to kind of support that if that's something that, yeah, your organisation would like to do, because I think it'd be great to be able to roll it out across.
I also had a very interesting conversation. I went to one of the early help teams, children's early help teams, who are now called targeted support, not early help anymore. And there was a similar conversation, and there were a number of family workers, young people's workers, who were like, we want to get involved, we want to learn more, we want to champion this, we want to challenge schools, which can be quite a bit of our work. I'm happy to say not the Young Carers Champions who are here, but yes, a big part of our work, and definitely would love to be able to roll that out to other services.
Yeah. One says we identified ourselves in our team who have been on your sessions, so that'd be great. Yeah, it'd be great to get in touch and talk about that.
Siobhan, you could be our guinea pig. Because we have a resources pack for schools called the Schools Pack. It's very simple, and that basically talks schools step by step what we would like them to do in terms of identifying and supporting. And we feel there is a bit of a gap in other services that we would like to be able to create a resource for you. I am pleased to say coming in the new year will be a resources area on our website. That will include resources for professionals, schools who are also professionals, parents and young people themselves. We know our website needs a bit of work, and that's next on my long list of jobs to do. Oh, I lost the chat again. I believe the key is linking up services, which appears to be an uphill battle. Transient workforce often impacting knowledge and support offered. This also means young carers miss being signposted and having to form continuous new relationships. They feel it to feel there 100 million%. So the My Plan that Charlotte briefly touched on earlier, we use as a tool for young carers own the My Plan, and they should be able to give that My Plan to any adult they wish to share it with, so that they do not have to tell their story again. They don't have to, it's very personal. Like, we don't want these young people having to tell 50 teachers that they might be in contact with, or a GP, or somebody at the hospital. They should just be able to say, I'm a young carer, read my support plan, read my plan. That's where we want to get to. Natalie's done some really amazing signposting, so also check out Dan Harris, founder and CEO of Neurodiversity in Business. Great person for employment training, business policies affected SEN and neurodiversity. We will pass that on. I'm just going to note that one down, Natalie, because I know we're looking to get the Carers Tick Employer Award, and but Charlotte, you're on a workforce.
Yeah, neurodiversity working group we've got, and working towards lots of different things and outcomes. So that would be great for us to have a contact. Done. Thank you.
We need to remove the burden on young carers to be responsible for self-identification. The onus should be with the person they have contact with. Yes, JD, young people are not going to just say it. And I think terminology is key. If you ask a young person, are you a young carer? They're probably going to say no. If you ask a young person, do you help to look after anybody at home? They will say yes, more likely to say yes at that point.
Yeah.
And it's very much, do you help, rather than, do you do physical things. It is also hugely about the emotional impact, as any adult carer or parent carer on this call will know. The toll on your emotional well-being is significant. It is huge, and that's not okay. And we need to support all carers, no matter what age. I also just wanted to, at that point, I had something to say that's got out of my head. Hang on. No, it might come back later.
There's a few more things in, Natalie said something else. Yes, I wonder then, if nobody else has got any questions, whether we kind of just take a quick break and then come back for our session with young carers. What do you think, Andy, Becca?
Sounds good to me. Andy, if we just before, when we come back, I'll remind everyone, as many people as possible who can and is comfortable to turn their cameras on. That part will not be recorded. Please do. I'm just very conscious these young people, it might feel very strange to them not seeing people on the screen. So if you feel comfortable to, please, if you can, turn your cameras on. Thanks. Over to you, Andy.
Brilliant. Thanks, Becca. Thanks, Charlotte. And yes, so if you come back in just over 10 minutes time, as I said, it will be a really powerful session, hearing firsthand from the young carers as well. For those people who will need to sort of shoot off straight at the end of that session, just to let people know, as I said, the slides will be sent around, as with all of the links that have been included in the presentations. I'll include them in the email. As you won't be surprised, in terms of all of the organisations sort of involved in this are charities, and so rely on feedback. And so we will be sort of emailing around a survey asking for how people have found the session, because this is the first time that we've come together to do this conference. So yes, so when you get the link, we'll be really grateful if you take a couple of minutes just to provide some feedback as well. So we'll see people in about 10 minutes time.